beer, whiskey, and tits.
Oh,
Tits. I drink them. Yeah.
You guys all ready to go? Let's do it.
Let's go.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Four Jobbers Podcast. I'm, of course, Ginger Heat. I am the first one that speaks, and the other ones, they're all here. We're four jobbers this week, and we have the body from Kirkcaldy, Jordan Deves, all the way from Edinburgh, Scotland. We have the waxy, the venomous, the son of the dentist, looking colorful and dapper, and, of course, Jason. They hate Jason. They love Jason. He is going to be bringing us through all kinds of stuff this week, but Wax is going to bring us through the news. The body is going to bring us through Money in the Bank as we go into predictions. So we'll get some news, some predictions, all kinds of other stuff, but we'll kick it off with a question to you guys, Waxman.
me?
When you get in the shower, do you start with the shampoo or do you go straight to wash the body?
So I
don't typically go in the shower with him.
Fair.
Oh, right.
But would you be willing
to wash his own body?
Yeah,
Sorry, I
so
understand.
there
Yeah,
you go.
Sorry.
Okay.
the son of the dentist
Well, Jordan cracks
body.
a beer first. I know that. So I don't wash my hair every time I shower. I shower every day. I wash my hair like every 2 to 3 days. Assuming I am doing the full kit and caboodle.
Let's assume.
I will shampoo my hair, let it sit, then wash my body, shampoo, condition, stand in the shower and try and build up the courage to face the world, and then get out of the shower and dry off.
Amazing. Jordan, what about you?
I open the beer outside of the shower, just so you're aware. I don't open it in the shower because that's mental.
Even if you're already in the shower and you want to open a second beer, would you reach your hands outside the shower?
I'm never in a shower that long.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, no. Come on, calm down. I'm an alcoholic. But
I gotta get back at
but I'm a
drinking.
functioning one.
Efficient.
Yeah. I shampoo first. I don't know what this is. But
Your horns? Moose?
Yeah. I think I'm the same as Wax. I put the shampoo on, I'd lather, and then I better wash my balls now.
Yeah.
Do my balls.
Only
Right,
your
that-
balls.
Exclusively. And then I back to getting the bits out of the hair, you know?
Yeah, and you gather the strength to get out at a certain point.
Get your perm. Get those
yeah.
curls going.
Yeah, get some. Yeah, well, once I get out, there's a whole routine after that because you got to moisturize, and then like oil the beard, and then put some pants on, things like that.
Underwear.
Aye. Oh yeah, sorry. Undergarments.
Captain Underpants himself. Jason, what about you? Do you go for the hair first or the body first when you get inside of that shower? And I know you've changed your shower routine quite a bit over the years. It used to be a long one. Now it's a shorter one. How's it
I
look?
start with my feet, and then I work my way up and finish with my hair.
That's mental. That's ridiculous.
That's cancelable, right there.
Yeah, that's insanity.
You wash your feet.
Right.
We all know none of you wash your
Out.
dirty feet or legs, so what are you
My
talking about?
Feet and legs.
I bet you're the kind of guy that when they get dressed, they start with their socks, right?
No, I start with my underwear.
Starts with his hat.
He puts on his hat, then his socks, then puts on his jeans and tries to get his underwear through the middle of them. You psychopath.
Wash your legs.
I do wash my legs on a regular basis.
Just wash them.
I can smell them from here.
Why legs specifically?
Because nobody washes their legs. They say, like, oh, the water gets it, or
that's
it runs down.
That's
Right,
true.
but
A lot of
you-
people.
Yeah, people
they just
probably do
proven that it does run down, and so you don't have to pay as much attention. But yeah, you should be
Just,
washing
run
them.
them down.
It's summer. If you're listening to this podcast and you're a wrestling fan, and you're not showering or wearing deodorant, this is your PSA to start
Do
doing
you
so.
Wash your
and
Put
join
your
society.
finger in your butt and wash inside.
Yes.
Yes.
You put your finger up your butthole. And
I have to.
Yeah.
yeah, I do too.
Jason's reaction though.
Do you guys ever bath? Do you ever?
Oh, all the time. I love
I don't have a
baths.
bath here. I wish.
Yeah.
But it's
No
more
bath
for,
here.
I put like Epsom salts, and it's more for like
Yeah,
relaxation.
Epsom printer salts.
Epsom.
Epsom. Epsom. Epsom salts,
Valet's a
and
big buddy either.
you shower after. You rinse off after.
Yeah.
It's nice, honestly, with the Epsom salts. It actually it helps. I didn't realize that salt could do that, but this is a different kind of salt. It's not the one you put on your chips. It's one you put on you,
Chips.
and it makes your muscles
Nice.
happy.
Oh, well, there you go. I don't
Nice.
bath.
Well,
know.
if I had a bath, I would use
You
it. I would use some Epsom salts, but I do not. I just have a shower in this little box in the sky that I have. Although I do love this box, don't get me wrong, but we also talk about wrestling on this podcast. It's not just about what do we do with our bodies and how we treat them. We're not just giving you life advice. We give you bad wrestling takes on the regular. So why don't we kick it off with some news? The Wax Mamba. Let's go.
Me. All right.
Me.
Sorry about that. Okay, so
You apologize, too.
The theme of the news of this week is wrestler movement. People are moving up, moving down, moving out, coming in. Let's start with the people leaving because the IWC is having a real normal one over some wrestlers who we have found out over the last week. Jordan still thinks one of them is a work. It's not.
Could be.
We have found out over the last week that certain wrestlers' contracts will not be renewed. And so we are talking R-Truth, Carlito, Sarah Logan, a.k.a. Valhalla, and also some are saying The Miz. The Miz has removed all mention of WWE from his social media. So some are keeping an eye on him. He kind of fits the same mold of well, not Sarah Logan, but someone who's been around, veteran. They're not really using them too much. And so, Jordan, I'm going to come to you with this because the last round of releases or contract non-renewals, you put out a video on the Four Jobbers Instagram. And you said that you didn't care enough when they were here. Just don't get upset when they're not here. Do you feel this still applies to this next round?
I think this 50-50. For somebody like R-Truth, no, it doesn't apply because I think people do and have cared about R-Truth, particularly in the last couple of years. Like the work he's done with Judgment Day, and then with this whole John Cena thing more recently is great. And like everyone likes seeing R-Truth. He's never going to be at the top of the card. He's barely ever going to be fighting for a mid-card title. But whenever you see him, you like him. And he's regularly on TV. So I think this one's a little bit different. This is the one that I can't put my finger on the exact reason for why he would have been released. Because I imagine he sells merch. I imagine that, he does a lot of work in the back as well. So is this purely a contract thing? I don't know. I guess it's not for me to fully understand it. But for somebody like Sarah Logan, I mean,
I didn't know she was still with the company. What the hell?
Yeah, I think there's some haunted stuff going on with her, but we don't need to talk about that. Realistically, yeah,
Haunted alert.
she would come onto the TV and nobody cared, and so people are now like, oh, she was so good. Well, yeah,
I ain't seen nobody say she was so good. Who said that?
It's less about
but
yeah.
But I'm just generally, if that's the comment.
Search
that
Twitter,
people would
someone
make,
did, right?
Yeah.
Some people just like to complain, so they will.
Yeah,
pretend they
I
always
think-
liked, Sarah Logan and
I think this round of releases, if we want to call it that, is different because it's not guys that have been sitting in the back doing nothing. These are guys that typically have been on TV pretty much every single week in one way or another. So this is kind of surprising. This is a bit of a shock. One of them, we don't even know if it's true. And I guess another issue with what we have here is that this is not your release now. It's you're not getting your contract renewed. And I know that, for example, Carlito's in the middle of a storyline, but he said, oh, yeah, I'm getting released, which I don't know how that's going to...
He must have been on a big contract,
but...
right? Because it seemed like he was going to be coming back at a prime time. They're going to be using him. I'm just wondering for him, is it contract? For R-Truth, is it contract? He was probably on a legacy Vince contract that was very high because he was very valued for what he brings. And I don't know if maybe that leaves the door open to come in under like a Legends contract or something. But the Miz one would be the most shocking, especially because I think all of this, the timing is weird, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to get rid of Miz, you might as well get rid of Mello because look what he was doing without him. Miz comes in, and all of a sudden Mello is fucking interesting again. Very interesting. And we want to see more. And I want to see more from both of them. But are they going to continue to be a tag team? Are they not? I don't know. And then with R-Truth, you just started using him. Out of nowhere, we finally put him into something, and you release him right after, a 5-minute stink match with John Cena. And yeah, look, I get it. In the world of wrestling and it's a business, you're to say, hey, your goodbye match was against John Cena in his retirement tour on Saturday Night's Main Event. You probably got a big payout for that, all of that stuff. So it's a really nice goodbye. But from the fans' perspective, we're allowed to have an opinion, and I'm going to say that it just feels really shitty. And I'm not even the biggest R-Truth guy. Obviously, I love having him there. He's enjoyable. I can't say anything bad about him. But it's not just like I'm not like one of those that I need to have him or want. But I was enjoying what I was getting there, and I was hoping there would be a little bit more with Cena. But I guess not.
That's kind of where I fall. Is I'm not losing sleep over any of these people leaving. I get it. I get why.
You bastard.
How
Evil
But
bastard.
there is another name. I was actually just coming on, as I was getting ready for the podcast, there's another name that is floating around in the IWC as someone whose contract is up this year, and as of now has not been approached for a new contract. And that person is Karrion Kross.
Has not been approached? This is like confirmed?
I forget who the source is from, but that doesn't mean it won't happen. But as of now, it has not. So.
It does seem weird because he's gotten so much fire online lately. He is all over the place. The fans are telling them, like, we love this guy. Do something with him. And he only has like these backstage promos and little things. So I hope that something will get going with him and Sammy, because right now he's getting a lot of steam online, and we're not even getting to see him on TV do anything other than a promo here and there, which he is good at, and I'll take them. But it does seem dangerous and scary, like they could cut him.
That could change. Remember, there was a whole bunch of smoke around Kevin Owens' contract being up, and then he signed a big, juicy long-term deal. Everyone thought he was AEW bound at that point. And then he wasn't. So this can always change. But interesting. These legacy guys, I was never personally super excited to see R-Truth. I think he had some great moments, like in the Capital Punishment pay-per-view when he was feuding with John Cena. Was it you, Jason, who said that he had just attacked John Cena after just before?
Right before the pipe bomb, the guy that knocked John Cena into the table in the corner was R-Truth.
That's it. R-Truth.
And he was a heel at the time, and he was smoking in the arena.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
He had some excellent character work. Like, I remember him fondly. I was in the minority, I suppose, where I was just not even remotely excited about his match against John Cena. I thought it was a complete waste of a final, Cena's final appearances, but he was well liked backstage. He definitely was probably on a mentor type role, a good morale person to have around.
Any event where you're doing like a corporate event, a WWE star needs to show up, you can throw R-Truth into anything, and he's going to excel in it, and people are going to be happy to see him. When you see R-Truth in person, that's someone you want to bounce around with. But
I think that's the one that it kind of irks me a little bit. Whenever I see people getting released, you typically don't hear from anyone else about it. They're gone from the company, right? And then it's only us that talk about it. But when Truth announced that he was gone, everyone within WWE was posting photos of Truth and making comments about it and saying, "Oh, we're going to miss you" and all that. And that's what made me think this is a work. The fact that everyone is posting about it, it didn't sit right with me that it was actually happening, if that makes sense.
So you think like he's going to come out some point and screw over John Cena? We're not going to expect it because he's not on contract, yada yada. Everybody gets work. It would be great.
Put it this way, right? Who's the one guy that has basically stepped up to Cena and said, no, he's the guy. He's better than what he is. I believe in him. I think we're going to get him back. It's been Truth, right? And he's a long-term fan. He gets put through a table. They have a match. He says a few more things about him. Who does Cena go to at the end of this and go, "Hi, that guy's pissing me off. Get rid of him." Big bald fraud comes in. Rocky, do you know what? I'll have a chat with the board and we'll just get him gone. We'll just cut his contract and that's him out. What a good storyline. And then Truth comes back randomly in 3 months' time and screws over John so that Cody wins the title or something stupid like that. It's not impossible.
Even if he doesn't come back,
You're
they got to
giving
use
the
that. John's got to use
story
that in a
writers- you're giving the
promo.
writers a
Like,
lot of credit. A lot.
I am 100%, 100%. But like, there was something about it. The fact that everyone was posting and commenting and sharing
point.
photos, it just didn't sit the same way that any other release has ever sat.
Jason, you're a big Carlito guy. Missed opportunity overall if this is the end of his return to WWE.
For sure, but first I want to ask a question to Brad.
Oh,
Since you're the quiz master we all saw.
no, don't ask me quiz questions.
What was R-Truth's name when he debuted in the WWE, and
on.
bonus points for who
What do you
he
mean, come
teamed
on?
up
You know
with?
it?
I know this.
Who did he team up with?
that's-
And what was his name? Let Brad guess.
You guess.
I don't know either of the
your
answers
white
here. I don't know what he was called.
Okay,
other than
he
Ron
debuted in
Killings?
2000, aired,
Yeah, roughly.
and his partner is one of my favorite wrestlers of all
Correct.
time, but obviously not top of the card. Mid
Hakushi?
to low. No, we're talking about 2001. This is Attitude Era.
Okay.
Come on.
So think of Attitude Era factions and who was a part of big Attitude Era factions that wasn't a main eventer.
Road Dogg?
Yeah, there you
Nice.
go.
He
Got
debuted
the
with the Road
brain
Dogg?
working. Got it
What was his
working.
name?
K Quick.
Okay, quick. Okay.
And
Yeah,
he would
yeah,
rap, let's
Okay.
get rowdy. We're getting
yeah.
rowdy.
I didn't
with
know that.
the
It's in
Road
there
Dogg.
somewhere.
But yeah, go back and watch it. And why did people post photos and say such kind things about R-Truth? Because he's an absolute legend that's been around since 2001 with Road Dogg. Like, obviously not the whole time,
That's
but
crazy.
so yeah, he deserves that, if not more. I don't know if he's going to sign a Legends contract or something going forward. There's so much we don't know. Obviously, we hear the main thing and we react to it. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes or what really happened. I even heard a theory that John Cena knew that his release was coming up, and that's how they got the John Cena match, like just to like shoehorn a little moment for him in there. I don't know if that's true though, just a rumor. But yeah, R-Truth is incredible. Like, he's a universally liked guy in wrestling.
Yeah.
That is
That's tough.
hard.
Yeah.
Even in today's day and age, there's always someone that'll say like, if you're too liked, someone's gonna be like, why do people like him so much? Blah, blah. But R-Truth,
Especially
no.
for someone who's as old as he is.
And comedy. You know how hard comedy is
Yeah.
in wrestling to make it work? He's just a natural. And he's also an incredible wrestler. Like in, I think, ROH or TNA, other places, he's been the world champion, I believe. So, like, WWE decided to use him a different way. But he could do both. And, yeah, he deserves his flowers for sure. And Carlito, obviously a big missed opportunity. I love Carlito. He could do so much more. He was in the best shape of his life when they had him. I don't know why he didn't do more. I don't know if it was a collaboration, if he didn't want to, if he just, I have no idea. But for me, I want to see more Carlito. I wanted to see, like, in meaningful matches. I wanted to see title contention Carlito. I wanted to see it all because I love Carlito. But
I think part
is
of what
what
you're
it is.
saying in your first points, the TKO era has lost its ability for me to trust them blindly. You know
they
what I
don't
mean?
have our goodwill.
No.
They had a lot of goodwill after the Bloodline thing. I was talking to
that
you
was like
about
to
that.
me. That's like the Triple H era. It was like very small. There was like the Vince. Then all of a sudden we get the Triple H era,
That's
and
true.
then the
Triple H
TKO
is
era.
still getting all the
TK
heat, though. Everyone's like, Triple H sucks. See, I told you from the beginning we shouldn't trust him. But, like, does he have as much power with TKO, or who's
It seemed like there
releasing
was a
who?
moment where he was in charge of everything, and it was beautiful and amazing, and
Yeah,
everything
there-
was great.
There
And
was
then
like
now we've
maybe a year and a
reverted back
half to 2
yeah.
years when Vince left to TKO taking over.
It's a cold,
yeah.
heartless, giant corporation that wants money by any means. The only way they're going to care about the fans is if we stop watching. If we keep watching and complaining, they don't care. They're making money.
You know, I was watching I was watching Raw, and then I watched NXT because I was catching up on a load of stuff, and I was like just consuming content of wrestling pretty much back to back. I was kind of knackered after watching it, and I was thinking to myself, this is exactly how I feel when I jump on Disney Plus and I try to watch the latest Star Wars show that's there. I'm actually exhausted because there's so much that I need to watch. And I feel like that's what TKO has become. It's become like
Disney?
what Disney is to Star Wars. It's taking it over, and it's creating, hey, now you have to watch Evolve and NXT, and then there's this women's pay-per-view, but also the main roster.
The
and then-
backstage show
and
about
then
how
there's
we
a
make the program. And
Exactly. And it's just like, oh my days. it's so difficult to keep on top of it. It's so difficult. You know, I watched Andor recently on
I heard
on
that was
Disney.
good though. No.
Andor's amazing. Absolutely fantastic.
So once in a while it hits.
But like I watched that, but then technically I also then need to rewatch Rogue One just so that the continuation.
You should.
A great film. But then there's also on Disney Plus the making of Andor, and there's like a behind the scenes documentary about how they made it, and I'm like, well, I should probably watch that as well. Then it's
Gotta find 10 hours to free up in a day.
Yeah, so that's a lot of other movie time being taken up for Star Wars, and it's funny you say it because I was just in there looking at it the same. I wanted to go back into Star Wars, watch a little bit. Where do you start? Do I start with 1, 2, 3? Do I start with 4, 5, 6? And then I was like looking at, okay, how do I watch this chronologically? And there's websites that are dedicated to the giant snake.
Yeah, I did that once. You have to watch like the cartoon. What was that cartoon?
Clone
show?
Wars.
Clone Wars.
There's a lot.
Clone Wars is amazing to be.
But it's a lot. It's a lot.
Fucking nerds.
Well, all that to say, it's definitely a different era. I think at this point, it's if you are not drawing. Although R-Truth was a top merch seller, apparently he had one of the top.
Was he really?
T-shirts at the time we found this news out. Let's maybe
made a money.
A bit more positive. How about some
Jason? Bring the drops back.
How about some people who are getting promoted from NXT?
True.
So, 3 names have come up as moving up to the main roster from NXT, and they're all pretty recent arrivals. One we already saw, which is Stephanie Vaquer, hence why she lost the Women's Championship to Jacy Jayne, of all people. Everyone was shocked, but it's because she's moving on up. But there are 2 other names I wanted to float by because Steph is already in the Money in the Bank match, and I can't wait to see that. Jordynne Grace.
Oh, yeah.
And Ricky Saints are both being talked about. Yeah, there you go. Are both being talked about moving up. So we see kind of already where Stephanie can fit in. We talked about where we would want her to fit in, right at the top, quite honestly. And then she didn't look out of place at all. What about these other 2? Where do you think SmackDown, Raw, better place, first feud, where and how should they show up?
Was Jordynne Grace already announced? Because they said Vaquer Raw, then Jordynne Grace SmackDown was like the.
It seems to be what they're saying, but I saw Jordynne Grace on NXT last night.
Yeah, they can go down. I think anyone can pop down to NXT for a minute, for a moment.
I don't have a problem with that, but it's what she said when she was on NXT last night. She comes out to Jacy Jayne or whatever and says, "Oh, the reason I came here is because it's the best women's division, and I want that title." And I was like, "Oh, so you're not going to SmackDown then?"
So.
All
yeah,
right,
that sounds kind of weird.
Interesting. But yeah, I think separate out your talent, get her on SmackDown. I'm trying to think, Jordynne Grace versus Bianca. Hey,
sure.
That I'd watch that. That could be fun.
Anyone.
Meat on meat. Let's go. But yeah, like I think the women. I'm actually weirdly we're at a time in wrestling where the women's division I'm not worried about. The talent is so good, but it's not stretched as such. There's just enough of them. Someone like Ricky, I don't know where he fits in. Like, I feel like he's the kind of guy that's going to come up, have 1-2 months worth of, content, and then just disappear. Like, I don't know where he fits in, quite frankly. If you put him on SmackDown and amongst the mid card of LA Knight and Drew McIntyre and all that lot, he's just going to get squashed. If you put him on Raw, what's happening with the IC title? Ricky versus
Dominic
Dom?
Mysterio.
That could be fun.
Interesting.
Dom's too over right now. Yeah, maybe he's better off somewhere else. Like, we need some, unless he comes up as a heel and does that for a bit.
He's
I don't know.
a heel I don't know him well. Just looking at him, he's a heel.
Ricky?
Yeah, he should be.
He's face at the minute.
He's
He's
face
face
at
at
the
the minute.
It's just because it's like the honeymoon.
Yeah, honeymoon, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of honeymoon,
Oh.
we remember how Ricky showed up on NXT. He was taken off of the AEW active roster, and about the next night, he was on NXT. And you know what? That happened again.
Did.
A person with no name, but we have seen before, has shown up. You may know this person as one Mariah May. Big get for WWE.
Yeah, a bit of a waste bringing her to NXT, quite frankly.
You'd put her up at the main roster right away.
100%. 100%. She
quality.
is incredible. I actually don't like what they're doing with NXT at the minute. I'm trying to get more into it and then watch it as much as I can.
This week was good. This past week.
And every week, generally, it's pretty good. But all I'm watching is the last 6 months. You've had these big stars from TNA, from AEW, whatever. They come in, they go to NXT, they immediately rise to the top, and then they fuck off after 5 minutes and go to the main roster. And it just leaves a wake of destruction in their path of undeveloped talent. It's a shame because you've got somebody like JC Jane, who's now the champ, for whatever reason. That's fine. I was surprised by it personally, but hey, she's the champ. And I just feel like her reign is going to last about 15 minutes because there are about 5 or 6 other women that are going to appear and be like, oh yeah, I deserve a shot because I'm a big fish in another pond that way. So I'm just going to use this title to show how good I am. And then I'm going to fuck off to the main roster 20 minutes later.
That's kind of like what the debut of her was, right? She came out at last after all these people came out to say, I'm the next contender. Now you have all these possible contenders for JC, and then it's just like, and Mariah May on the top.
Oh, yeah, and by the way, Mariah May's first.
And we're bringing Jordan Grace back down.
Yeah, it just...
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm so happy that these people are getting a shot and moving to, different pastures and all that kind of stuff. But it's just a shame that everything seems to go through NXT at the minute because I don't think, as a developmental brand, it doesn't help develop the talent there. I feel like it just pushes them to the side while they make their way through it.
It feels like a testing ground because now they have Evolve, LFG, and all those like purely developmental. Like NXT feels less developmental, and it feels more like a sandbox where you test out your gimmick, or it's kind of a soft landing point for anybody. Although Jeff Cobb, for whatever reason, goes right up to the main roster, and that's a person
some people do
know less than Mariah May or Ricky, for that matter. But so
Ricky, it made sense to me, but Mariah May is kind of tough. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like she should be going up to the main roster right away.
Ricky, Ethan, even like Stephanie Vicker and Julia, like realistically, they were not world champions in the competition, if that makes sense. They were world champions in
the
other
ultimate
promotions.
pro level of wrestling is AEW and WWE.
100%.
It's not debatable.
And Mariah May arguably was the greatest, maybe not the greatest, but in the greatest feud of last year in women's wrestling. She arrives in WWE and she's fighting some idiot for the NXT title and not just immediately turning up on Raw and being like, hey, I want a shot. My name's Mariah June now. Let's go. Yeah,
it's true. It's true. It's one thing when you're Lexus King. He wasn't ready for the main roster.
Right.
And he probably still isn't, to be fair. Or Sean Spears, who was
put him on Evolve,
never a big name. Ethan, they're keeping Ethan down. I thought he would have been in that next batch up. He's really good.
Well, he was he on commentary when they had like an NXT showcase kind of match on? I think it was on SmackDown.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like a showcase for the AAA.
Right. So there's
Worlds
maybe
Collide
he's starting to get a little peak.
Where I wanted to go next, because if you did watch SmackDown last week, yes, there was the Garza boys and Rey Fenix. But there was a fourth person in that match that I wanted, if any of you did watch it, I wanted to get your opinion on. And that's Javon Evans.
Yes.
He certainly has developed a reputation. I think he fought Randy Orton on NXT, if I'm not mistaken, not too long ago.
I believe so.
He's like 20, if I'm not mistaken. And I just would love to, if any of you watched him and hadn't seen him before, I want to know what were your impressions of him in that match. I think that was his first match on the main roster. I don't think he is called up, but it was part of a showcase. And he's definitely gotten some NXT title pushes on NXT. So, yeah.
No, what do you think about it? Because I've seen him before, so I had seen him prior to this, so it wasn't like a new thing. But what did you think?
Yeah.
Since you brought it up, down here.
Watch, first of all. I was a little confused as to why he was in a AAA showcase match, but that is his moveset. That is his what's the word I'm looking for? That is his
style.
Yes. Yeah. Thing you are.
He's a thing.
It's crazy when you see people who are, at least work rate wise. I don't know him super well on the mic or as a character. I haven't had a chance to really tune into that body of work.
Still so young, anyways. Like,
But he's still so young. It's crazy that someone is that, like we saw with Roxanne, right? And now she's up on the main roster. I'd be very curious. He's someone I'm going to keep my eye on, for sure. But I'm glad that this was not a call-up, because I already see a team like Fraxium getting the call-up, and now they're getting beaten up every week. And I had a lot higher hopes for them. Nathan Fraser is another guy who reminds me of Javon Evans a lot.
Yeah.
And I would like to see him and his friend utilized more too. But it's fun. I like when NXT guys can show up like that, and it's not a call-up. Same way people from the main roster can go down. And that's why I'm thinking NXT is less a purely developmental brand. It's
do they want it to be, or do you think they're going to market it as like a third show to try to get that third stream revenue?
Remember they did it for a while.
Again, with how they're
they did it for a while when it was like the Survivor Series thing, when it was the three brands were fighting against each other.
Yeah, they kind of did. Like they dipped their toe into it, but I'm wondering if they're going to go full horn, especially if they, if you have a chance to make it a third revenue stream, feels like something TKO would want to do and blow this up as big as possible.
Yeah, I've seen Javon Evans a few times. I think he's good. I think he needs more of a character, because at the minute he is just a guy. I don't really know what his gimmick is. Maybe he doesn't need a gimmick. Maybe I'm just being old school about it and say you need a character. Maybe he can just be himself, but there's something about him that doesn't fully resonate with me.
You have to be a turned-up version of yourself, in my opinion. If you want to be yourself, you got to go really far with it. A lot of these people aren't, and we see that it doesn't bring you to that next level. It's not like it's just our only opinion. It seems like it's extremely hard to get over if you don't have an extremely turned-up character.
I think I've been watching, like I say, I've been watching NXT a lot more recently to try and engross myself with the characters.
It's hot right now too,
because we spoke about this a few weeks ago, where we said that. One of the reasons that sometimes things work in NXT but they don't work on the main roster is because it's typically the same people that attend NXT shows, because it doesn't travel. It's in the same place pretty much every week, right? So I was like, well, maybe then I need to watch NXT every week to fully understand these characters. So I've started watching it more and spent a bit of time, seeing characters like Javon Evans. And actually, I'm still just like, I don't really get you. Like, talented as hell, unbelievably talented, but there's just nothing about his character that makes me go, I want to see that. I want to see you do that. When I see it, it's good.
Live is different too, right? In NXT,
100%.
a lot of the time you're getting those live
100%.
reactions, and they're playing to the live crowd. That's what they were good at before, and that's what they're good at now. And now you're going to have to learn to play to the camera and the people at home.
Jason, I'm not going to read this last point on the news section. So why don't you tell me what that is, if it's just shit.
What does it say, Waxman?
Well, it's making an assumption about one.
That's nothing.
I figured.
There's not even any news. There wasn't something that came out like good or
No,
bad.
it's nothing.
It's literally just out of nowhere.
It's just it's nothing.
All right.
Let's move on.
Why was
I didn't write that. I didn't write nothing.
You did. I saw Jason edited the note, and that's what was
Brilliant.
You've been called out.
Well, I
Deny.
hope the best for Javon Evans, and I don't know much about him, and I did have that match on, but I didn't pay enough attention to give a real opinion on this. But, you said he's 20 years old?
Yeah.
21.
21? So as far as, like, technical ability in ring and, like, athleticism and all that crazy style he has, he's far ahead of the game. Obviously, the character has to catch up, just like any of the greats. The first one usually doesn't hit, and it takes time to develop. So that'll come with time, but he's way ahead of the game otherwise. So,
Nice.
Yeah, he's got. I'm pretty sure he's in a fatal four-way for the North American Championship at Worlds Collide, which is on just before Money in the Bank. So yeah, maybe we'll see him being. Ethan's only been North American champ for about 25 minutes, but. Hey, based on current trend, he'll lose that title and then be on the main roster lickety split. So there you go.
I mean, to be fair, Ethan is a guy who I think would fit in very well on the main roster. He's a fully realized character.
Really?
I think so. I like him.
I mean, I like him. I think he's great. I think he's got a great character. But in terms of coming up to the main roster, I think he would be a Johnny Gargano. He would fit in a tag team somewhere, and he wouldn't go any further.
Agree to disagree. I think if you want a guy, if you want a guy who's an easy to hate heel, that's your guy. He doesn't ever need to be a face, and he could go and get. If you want to get rid of the Miz, there's your Miz.
True.
So even just the longevity, he doesn't need to be up on the card, but I think he fits in really well.
Yeah.
Just because he's got a television ready. He's been on television, but he's got a main roster ready.
Yeah, that is true.
Fully realized character, but maybe he's just a tag team guy like Jey Uso.
Oh, wow.
Oh my God! Wow. Jey Uso hates out of control.
Well, let's talk about Jey Uso. If that is all the news, why don't we talk about Money in the Bank, the pay-per-view we have coming up this weekend from WWE. We have 4 matches at this point, and we'll start off with Jey Uso. We'll talk about that first because, of course, he's not defending his title on Money in the Bank. He's doing that 2 days later, I believe, on Monday Night Raw, because that makes perfect sense. So the first match, then, let's just dive straight into it. The first match, we have Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso versus John Cena and Pogan Lol. Jason, tell me, what do you think is going to happen here?
Did you guys see the all 4 of them in the ring talking, conversing?
I have seen them talking, yes.
Like the most recent one. I actually watched it. I don't know if I was in the right frame of mind or what, but all 4 of these people in the ring together, I enjoyed the segment. I think it went really well. Like every single one of them, their entrance was super over. It was people were interested, like, and the way they brought them out, like for the first time in a while, like I looked at Jey Uso's entrance and I really tried to, like objectively watch it and see what's going on. And I mean, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's a great champion, if he's a good talker, a good worker, whatever, you can't deny the hold that he has on the crowd. And you like, just imagine like how bad people just want a regular cheer when they come out, and he's got people exercising every time he comes out, and he's so blown up by everyone's blown up in the audience. Like he's got people exercising. You know how hard it is to get people to exercise? So like this guy is insanely over. I admit like his talking's not great, but it's mostly like they don't give him things to say, like, so I don't know. So he came out. Cody was good. I was happy to see Cody back. He's got an incredible presence when he's around. It feels more big time, just the way it is. He delivered a solid promo. And then like right after Jey comes out and they're all happy and hype and everyone's dancing, you hear John Cena's theme, and like kayfabe and real life, it's a big downer when you hear it, because people are so now like the realness is turning kayfabe, and I'm starting to get into being disappointed when he shows up. Like it's supposed to be that way. So I watched his entrance like the way I was supposed to, and I feel like he really went after Cody and Jey. It wasn't like super in depth and crazy, but it was true, and it was interesting. And then Logan Paul comes out, and seeing him with these legends like Jey Uso, singles or tag team, whatever, he's a legend. And he held his own too. Some people said he talked too much, but I think, Logan's a great heel. He talked well. He said what he was supposed to do. Him and Cena had an interesting dynamic, because Cena's talking him up, and then like later on in the promo, he kind of pushes him like, whoa, like relax, hold on. So like there's a little bit of turmoil there, which is interesting, even amongst the most heel of all heels, John Cena. So this segment for me did what it's supposed to do. I'm excited for this match, this really crazy match I had no interest in whatsoever. I want to see what they do with it. And who's going to win? That's a really good question. And I'm going to say...
That is the question I asked.
I'm going to say Cody and Jey. Cody and Jey.
Well, I'm going to stop you right there, and I'm going to ask you for also your opinion on what's going to happen between Jey and Gunther 2 nights later in Raw then. Because I think it's important. These 2 matches are linked. Not directly, but I think what happens at one affects the other.
Well, the ending of Raw, it's clear what they're trying to do. They're trying to really hurt Jey Uso. He got like multiple splashes. So I feel like he's going to lose to Gunther. And that's the excuse he's going to have. He's going to fight his heart out, but he's going to be so beaten up for taking, beatings for his friends to rescue his friends. Like, that's where they're leaning. Now, maybe they swerve it at the last minute, like whatever. But yeah, I'm going to say he loses to Gunther.
Would Seth rather have the title on Jay or on Gunther? Or he doesn't care?
I don't think he cares. Like,
He cares.
it's his. It's destiny.
Interesting. Wax, what's your thoughts?
Me.
That is you.
All right. Well, what I hope this match does is answer the question, what are they trying to do with this? Like, what is the purpose of this match? Is it, okay, we're trying to get John Cena to be a good guy again? We're just trying to put him in his place, and Logan also because he's a piece of shit. That type of thing. Because I'm kind of getting tired. As much as I love a good blood feud, I don't like when the blood feud involves the two main
Biggest titles.
men's title holders. I think that's a waste to me. As much as, you can argue that the segment, as Jason did, you can argue the segment did what it was supposed to do and it maybe added to the investment. I still don't like just that out of principle. That said, I always go into a match hoping to be pleasantly surprised when it's something like this. If we get a good match, I'll be okay with that. I think Jay and Cody will win this match. And as much as Jason brought up a good point. I think they'll kind of build it as him getting beaten up. And he's trying to do too much as the champion, trying to be the friend to everyone.
And it's true.
It is true.
It's true. And Gunther said
true.
you shouldn't be doing that as champion. We always say that. And why are they doing these weird matches? Like,
And I can't believe I'm saying it because I'm like, no, they're not going to change the title on Raw, but I think they might. I think I'll pick Gunther. I mean, I'm going to pick Gunther anyway. So
Bold. Brad?
I did like that segment that they had. It did help me get more hyped up for it. And I do think that Jay hate has gone too far. I don't think he's as bad as everyone is saying that he is. And, we dog on him for the quality of the promos and things like that. But saying that he can't wrestle? Come on. I mean, that's getting too far now. That's a little crazy.
yeah.
I get the promos aren't deep, but he's good at delivering them. He gets the crowd hyped. He's doing what he's supposed to do. This is good wrestling. I'm fine with it. As much as, I love the, 4 letters, 1 word. Obviously, it's great. All of that stuff is good. All of that stuff. I love it. So, I'm going to go ahead and pick Cody and Jay as well, and I will go ahead and pick Gunther.
bold.
Okay, so just me then. John and Logan.
John.
Lock it in.
John and Logan.
Yeah, I think Logan Paul needs it. Whoa.
Brought to you by Riverside.
Brought
hear
to
any-
you by
did that
my
work?
mouth.
Yes, it worked.
Yeah.
You still can't hear them, eh? So funny.
No, I think Cena's going to win somehow, and I think Logan needs that bit of rub from Cena to get that little push. Because he every time he gets a pay-per-view match, he always loses, and it's like, why should I care about him? Well, the one time that he's with somebody like John Cena and he gets a win, sick. So, yeah,
What happened?
You know what? I think I want to change my pick.
You want to?
Yeah.
Okay, tell you what, I'm gonna tell you what I think is gonna happen. Here's my grand plan, right? Because I'm a writer for WWE. John and Logan win this, and it looks like Jay is then so beat up that he couldn't possibly beat Gunther. Gunther is absolutely killing him in that match, and there's a few near falls and whatnot. And then, sorry, spoiler, out comes the new Money in the Bank holder, Seth Rollins, on Monday Night Raw, and steals it from Gunther and Jay.
Wow.
So that
The Heist of the Century Part 2?
ending Raw after Money in the Bank, Seth Rollins cashes in his recently won briefcase contract thing so that neither of them have to lose face. Gunther doesn't lose face. Jay doesn't lose face. Seth is just the architect. That's what I think is going to happen.
Gotta start one of those channels where they fantasy book everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should be a video. That's
Well,
a great.
yeah, but I would lose every time because I'm too smart.
Who cares?
Too smart.
It's just
Smart.
fucking fun.
You could be too smart instead of too sexy. Too smart.
Too smart.
Nice. I'm just a smarty boy. Smarty boy.
Continue.
Yeah, more.
I can't. Fuck off, all right?
I'm such a sexy boy. I'm not your boy
I'm
toy.
not your boy toy. What's
So what
that
would that be
about
for
smart?
a nerd? For a nerd.
Soy
I'm not
boy.
your calculator. I don't know.
Not your soy boy.
I'm not your sporty boy. Sporty boy. I like reading books. Reading books. I'm
Perfect.
just a smarty boy. Smarty boy. And then I do a wee guitar solo, but probably on a mandolin.
I heard that.
Mandolin Rain. Great song.
Thank
One
you.
of the best of all time.
The
Anyway.
Mandalorian.
So that's what I think is going to happen. So that is a little bit of a spoiler for my prediction for one of the other matches. So let's dive into that one. The men's Money in the Bank. I've already given my prediction. I think it will be Seth. And the reason I think it will be Seth is one, the Gunther J thing, but also everybody else in this match has someone that can stop them doing the thing they need to do to win. Like if I look at it, Penta and El Grande Americano / Chad Gable, if that's who we believe it is, they're probably going to take each other out. LA Knight and Andrade, they've been in a picture together. That's probably a thing. Solo is the only one that isn't with anyone in here, but actually I think that there might be something, JC Mateo or Fatu come in and get involved in some
For
way.
sure they're going to come out.
So
for sure.
it's another reason that I think that Seth is going to win this.
Look at those other names. It's got to be Seth. Come on now. It's got to be Seth. It's going to be Seth. I'm picking Seth. I'm still excited for the match. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited to see how it happens, but it's got to be Seth.
I really don't want it to be Seth. That feels like a waste. He doesn't need it. He's got the faction already. He's already
True.
dangerous.
That
He's
is true.
already going to insert himself in the title picture. Does he really need the Money in the Bank? My answer is no. And though it probably will end up being him, I'm not going to pick him out of principle. And I'm going to pick the guy that they probably should have put the briefcase on 2 years ago, and maybe also last year, and is the guy that everybody was saying his name, and maybe he's lost a little bit of his shine. But I think a Money in the Bank briefcase run
Makes
would
sense.
be excellent on him. L.A. Knight. Pull the trigger.
That'd be a great choice.
Oh,
Never.
sorry. I thought it was going to be Solo Sikoa. But, okay.
Solo needs a bit more time to shine him up again.
Nah,
He's so good.
Get him out.
All right,
He's great.
He might be pish.
We need heels. He's a great heel.
Jason?
Well, there is a bit of an absence of, I'm not going to say talent, but main event talent in this match. The only ones that make sense are Seth and LA Knight.
No chance, Penta? Like, you'd give him a zero?
With the briefcase right now? No way. No,
I say he's the type that would do a match. He'd say, I'm cashing this in. I want to do a match at blah, blah,
I
blah.
don't
with
see
blah,
a
blah, blah.
Penta with the briefcase. No, I don't see it. It's only LA Knight or Seth. Heel, the ultimate heel, or big baby face. It is true that Seth doesn't need it. He has an amazing faction, and he can, he's got Paul Heyman. You can get him a match whenever he wants, right?
True.
LA Knight, we thought they were going to pull it on him a while ago. He went on a little run with some mid-carders, so let's give him the briefcase. I'm going to LA Knight as well.
Nice. I'd love to see it. I'm so down.
I think the people would
Brad?
like it too.
I already chose.
you said
Seth
Seth.
freaking Rollins,
Sorry,
but
my
there is a
apologies.
chance that we get some schmozzery, right? I mean,
100%.
Sami Zayn, for example, said that he's not happy
We-
with Seth winning, so maybe he's going to show up and try to stop him.
He
We
said
do-
CM Punk has to win, and he got in his face and yelled at him for half an hour. You have to win. Then CM Punk lost, so what's
He
going to
lost.
happen there?
We
I don't
could
know.
all be
I don't get it.
massively wrong. It might be Solo. Like, we have no idea.
No. Hold on. It can't be Solo. Come on.
Andrade.
There's
Can't
no way.
I hope it is.
I'm not saying he couldn't do it, but
but
the way he's been built to this point makes no sense.
It'd be very surprising.
I
mean,
will
such a
remind
Jacob-
you that 2020, the Money in the Bank winner was Otis.
That was a bad year for everyone, okay?
Yeah, that was-
Right?
If someone else's era.
But the point I'm making is it is possible.
I don't know if they're gonna do that again. That was I didn't when you said that I'm like, oh my god, you're right.
Before.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Same way that Nikki ASH.
Yeah, Nikki Ash.
You know, just 'cause
Yeah,
they've done bad decisions before doesn't mean they'll do it again. Well, they could. But.
Well, yeah. Let's move on to another match. Not the women's Money in the Bank. We'll come to that last. We'll talk about Lyra Valkyria versus Becky Lynch for the women's IC title. The stipulation is that if Becky loses, she can't fight Lyra for the title again, I think. And if Becky wins, Lyra has to lift her hand in the air and go, well, sure, you're the better woman, you know. Let's go to Brad first. Brad, give me a prediction on this.
Sure, I'll give you my prediction on this one. Woo! Woo!
Ric Flair's going to win.
Becky Lynch.
Woo! That's Becky Lynch? The bird wings and the... and I get the Ric Flair one because I thought the same thing. Everyone goes, woo. Well, that's not really your thing, but it's only at the beginning of her song. So
Bird wing Becky.
Bird wing Lyra, not bird wing Becky. She doesn't have any bird wings. She's got...
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what she's got, but it's going to be Lyra, I hope. So I will pick Lyra.
Good choice. Wax.
Valkyria.
I'm gonna pick Lyra also.
Oh, Ireland.
I think there's nothing more that Becky needs to do for her, and the stipulation
Like
being,
this match.
she raises her hand in victory. Who cares? That's dumb and stupid. No, I think this is a good way for.
What happens if she doesn't?
Yeah,
What if she
nothing.
loses and
Who
says, fuck
cares?
you, I'm not raising my hand?
What does it matter?
Well,
but I think
it's a stipulation.
I think this is a good way to finish that part. Becky has done for Lyra what she needed to do, which is
The story.
help Lyra feel like a bigger star, which she has. And now it's time to let her go into whatever next feud there is. And now there's plenty of good candidates who are coming up onto this roster. And see, did Becky make Lyra? Or can Lyra fly on her own?
Flyra.
Lyra.
Lyra.
So, Lyra wins. Becky can no longer challenge for the title, and Lyra moves on, and Becky moves on. I think that's the best outcome.
Jason.
I mean, I pretty much agree with all that. You can't build up Lyra. What I just want to call her Valkyria. Drop to Lyra. You can't just build her up the way they have so well, and then just like clip her wings, if you will. When she's flying and soaring high, especially because Becky is an institution. She doesn't need ups and downs of feuds and this, that, and the other. Where she goes, the cameras go. So she can move on to fight or whoever she wants. And Lyra can continue to make this belt feel like it matters. Hopefully her next feud isn't a futile feud with no one caring. So yeah, let's go Lyra. She's earned it. She's earned it.
There we go. Well, the Auchentoshan whiskey has definitely hit because I'm the one who's going to say Becky Lynch is going to win this match. In the same way, so I have all of the information that I need is on my second screen. I'm like a proper person with like screens and folding out mics and everything like that. I'm like, I've got a whole setup going on here, right? I'm like that. Actually, never mind.
Howard Stern?
Yeah, why not? At Halloween Havoc in 2023, when Lynch and Valkyria faced for the NXT title, Lynch came out and lifted Valkyria's hand when she won the title in a show of respect. I think Lynch is going to win at the weekend and force her to do the same in a kind of I've won one, you've won one, and this will lead to a third match somewhere down the road. So I think that unfortunately Becky is going to win the title from Lyra.
You
on this
bloody
occasion.
Mark.
You
You're
failed
thinking
to
too hard.
that nobody cares about that.
Hi.
Nobody knows that.
Destroyed.
Hi.
You have to look it up on Wikipedia.
If I'm right though,
maybe.
you're
That's a
gonna
great bag
eat
full if you're
my
right.
shit.
All right.
I'm gonna shit
It's like
in a bag.
keep
and
betting on
send it to
some
Montreal.
guy to hit a.
If they reference it. Only if they reference it.
No, if
fine.
it happens, that's good enough. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you
No,
keep
but
betting for
imagine.
like a bicycle kick game-winning shot in your favorite soccer match
Yeah,
every
yeah.
week, and then when it hits finally after 1,000 times,
I knew it.
see?
I won though.
Hey, Jordan's fantasy booking posts would be fucking epic, though. It needs to happen. I'd be so down.
No, I agree. It's all very good. I wish it was true.
That's
I would
gold.
take it.
I'm always a bit out there, but I'm going Becky. I am going
WWE
Becky.
even remembers that.
Yeah, probably not. But let's move on to the last match of Money in the Bank. It is the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Alexa Bliss. We have Roxanne Perez. We have Rhea Ripley, Julia. We have Naomi and Stephanie Vaquer. Jason, hit me. What do you think?
Hit me. This one is more packed. The more possibilities. I am actually probably more excited for this one just because
100%.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I can't really book this. I'll leave that up to you. You're the genius. So I'm just going to say because it's fun and exciting and it could cause a real problem in the clubhouse of the Judgment Day.
Whoa. Say their name.
I'm forgetting her name. What's
Say
her
her name.
Joe Hendry.
Don't help him.
I forget. It's gone now because I'm trying.
Don't
but
know
you
her
know
name
who I
at
mean.
all?
No, I completely forget.
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez.
There
I
we
was
go.
thinking Rosa. What the hell?
Rosa.
Rosa Mendez.
No, Roxanne
Rosa
Perez.
Mendez.
And I look forward to seeing more of her work because I haven't seen it. That's why she doesn't stick it out in my mind as much, and I forget her name. Sorry, I won't forget it again when she becomes Miss Money in the Bank.
Good call, Wax.
Me. Yeah, I could see a case for any of these women to win. Genuinely. There's a couple I want to win it less than others.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think Rhea needs to win it, for example.
Please God, no.
But you can make an argument for any of the other five. If you want to put it on a relatively new face, Roxanne or Julia or Steph. Naomi would be really interesting with, storyline wise. And Alexa, right? Alexa is back on the scene. I am going to say, this is what I think they're going to do. I think they're going to put it on Naomi. Oh. Because she is a heel for the first time in what feels like ever. And I think they like the Money in the Bank briefcase holder being a little more dastardly in this case.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Because
I don't mind that.
women champions are faces right now. So.
A very
True.
good call. Oh yeah, I didn't think about that.
Right, who'd you choose?
You didn't pick yet.
Oh, okay.
Me.
You.
Yeah, because you said I didn't think about that. Like you had a pick in your head. What was
Yeah,
your
I
pick?
did have a pick in my head, and I'm going to stick with it. She's been brought up for a reason. Stephanie Vaquer. She
Right away. Woo.
straight away.
That's
Like,
who I would
why
want
not?
to win.
Like
Yeah, that'd be
realistically,
amazing.
you want an element of I don't know what's going to happen, and I feel like with everyone here, I kind of know what they would do with the briefcase if they won it. And I know that Stephanie's probably going to get written into the exact same pish that everyone else gets written into when they've got the briefcase. But it would be different with her. I don't think it would be different with anybody else right now. For me, anyway. So I think, yeah, Stephanie Vaquer, Money in the Bank. Brad.
You're La Primavera. She's La Primera. And according to the betting odds, the least likely to win at plus 900 is Julia.
For sure. Yeah, I agree with
Second
that.
least likely, plus 800, is Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah.
Tied with Alexa Bliss, both at plus 800, so both very long shots.
Roxanne's quite high then.
Third place, plus 600, so still great odds if you were to bet on her, because she's unlikely to win, is Roxanne Perez. And the top two, plus 300 or minus 300. So we have a pretty heavily favorited character. Rhea Ripley at plus 300, Naomi at minus 300, which was going to be my pick as well. Going with Naomi, it does seem the most likely, and storyline-wise, that seems like what they're going to do, and there's even a chance that she cashes in and doesn't win, so let's see what happens with that.
True.
Doesn't deserve that, but,
Well, a varied board, some would
Caution.
say, coming at the end of Money in the Bank, and of course there are somewhat predictions for what happens with Jay and Gunther on Raw as well. So there you go. That is everything that we know at this point is happening. 4 matches, not a lot happening, but I'm sure we'll see. Maybe on SmackDown things might change. Maybe we'll finally get to see tag titles getting
That'd be nice.
getting on a pay-per-view at some point soon. But who knows? But yeah,
on Raw, before Stephanie Vaquer was like coming out and whatever like that, they had a promo package describing like her whole career, the rise that she's had, and they had this crazy song playing to her, like Domine, and she came out right after it with her theme and didn't have the same impact as the song that was just in that promo. So I'm thinking they should put that song as her entrance theme because it's sing-alongable, it's fucking sick. I don't know if they can do it, if they're willing to pay for it or not, but it sounded really good in that promo package, and I think it would be a great entrance theme for her. That was my last little nugget. Anything else on your mind this week, guys, in the world of wrestling?
Brad's little nugget, say.
A little nugget there at the end, but if not, well, thank you guys so much for listening to another episode of the 4 Jobbers podcast. This weekend, I have an interview with Matt Viviani. He's going 1-on-1 with the Ginger One, and that should be out the following week. And then we will have another episode for you next Tuesday, and then I will be gone for 2 weeks. So the 3 Muppets will try to hold it down for us, and then we'll see what happens after that. So thank you so much for listening at the 4 Jobbers everywhere on social media. We'll see you next freaking week.
Sniff my manky ring.
Fantastic calls to action at the end of every
Disgusting.
What's a manky ring?
Listen how that works.
Like the Pokemon?
That's good.
That was really good. It works. How does the cable nugget tangle?
Oh, it's 100% all tangled.